When designing with modular construction, decisions have to be made up front. It's very different than site-built construction. Think about site-built construction. When you're designing it, most builders will give you allowances. So I'm trying to get to contract on a site-built home and I haven't picked out my tile yet for the bathroom. That's fine. I'll give you a $2,000 allowance. I'm doing site-built construction. I haven't picked out my kitchen. Fine. I'll give you a $12,000 allowance. Typical allowances are also for rock. If there's a well, they might give you a will or an allowance for how far it can go. Septic, depending on the type of construction, they might give you an allowance for that. But you will find yourself full of allowances in a site-built home. You sign your contract, the house starts construction, and now that tile allowance that you had for $2,000 sounded good, but now the tile you really like and the style you really want is $5,000. Oh, there was a lighting allowance. You had a lighting allowance of $3,000. The true lighting allowance is $10,000. So your contractor brought you in, you have these change orders, and all of a sudden the house went from being a $250,000 house to a $330,000 house, all because the allowances in no way covered what you thought you were getting. With modular, it's very different, and sometimes it's frustrating for your customer because customers have to make all the decisions up front. And so if they have a friend that's starting to build a house and they're site building it, they get excited because they sign their contract, they get their loan closed, and within days construction starting on their site, and they're watching the site excavation happen, and in about 4 weeks they're watching a foundation go in, in 5 weeks they're watching a floor system go in. And with modular, nothing's happened on site yet. 5 weeks in and nothing's happened on site. Well, maybe 5 weeks in, 4 weeks in, the excavator shows up to start digging the foundation. About the 5th week, the foundation's going in. But they've had to select all their colors, so this factory has already ordered everything at the factory that simultaneously, with nothing going on at their site, their house is actually has been started to be constructed at the factory. But it has every color, everything's been chosen, we know exactly what the cost is. So that house arrives 7 weeks later. Now you've just passed the neighbor that has basically still doing the framing at their site, and you have a house up and under roof in days, and you've just passed them and surpassed them by about 3 months worth of work. But what that means for you as a contractor is you didn't have any change orders. Your customer's happy because they didn't have any unexpected, or they've minimized unexpected costs. But that also means you as a contractor have to understand budgeting. Most site contractors expect to make about 30% of their profit from change orders. As a contractor in modular, you have to be honest with your customer, and they understand the true cost up front. So it's a benefit for your customer, and it makes you a better builder.